Today, on Celebrating the Arts, I have the pleasure of welcoming Salvadoran singer-songwriter T.A. Parker, whose songs, Endless, Way Back Home, and Sunday Song, is music that heals the soul. I'm so excited to welcome you, T.A., to Celebrating the Arts. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Rebecca. Very excited to be here. Very excited to talk a little bit about music and about anything that you want. So,
anything?
anything.
Take me back to the moment where you decided that you wanted to be a musician.
So, music has, in a certain way, always flown through my veins and the veins of my family. Right, I come from a very big musical family. My dad was a very good pianist, a very good accordionist. And then on my mother's side of the family, we had a lot of composers and songwriters. Nobody really famous, but they just loved to compose and they loved to sing. I was always connected to music. I remember listening to music when I was 6 and thinking I want to play an instrument when I grew up. So I'm self-taught. I learned to play the guitar by myself, and I've been playing live since I was 18 or 19 years old, really. You know, I have another career. I'm a physician. And so music had to be put on hold for a little bit. But when I ended up having a little bit more time, I decided to just put a little bit more of effort into singing, songwriting, and creating and telling stories.
So you're a singing doctor?
Yes.
Do you sing for your patients?
Sometimes I used to bring the guitar more to the floor that I serve. It's been a while, but yes.
What's your specialty?
I'm a pediatric rehab doc, so I treat children with disabilities.
And you know what? The point of this program is that we show that passion for music, even though you have this other career.
Yeah. If you have a passion for something, whether it's cooking or writing or painting or doing so, I was talking to a friend of mine who's also a musician, and we started talking, and he said it just feels empty when you don't do it, right? And I said, yeah, that's a really good way to put it. It feels empty when I'm not playing or involved in some sort of musical project. So
when you have that inside you, it's with you forever. And so you're right. When you don't do it, it's like a part of you is missing. So the fact that you are able to fulfill that in your life, you must be like just complete, because that completes you. But as a musician, what's your favorite part? Do you like producing? Do you like the songwriting? Do you like the recording or the performing? What's your favorite?
I probably the thing that I like the most is probably the thing that I hate the most. It's when you have created a song and you present it to somebody in any shape or form, and you let them make of it their own and interpret it as they want it. So it's not even the creating process, but finishing it and giving it to somebody and see what reaction people have to it. That's the thing that I like the most. And it is tricky because it scares me. It's when I'm the most vulnerable. Regarding music is when I'm the most vulnerable, right? You're presenting all of your feelings and all of your, and all of your thoughts and all of this process into creating something, and you go like, what do you think? And so that's the part that I like the most.
Yeah, it's like, here's my baby. Tell me, critique it, see what you think, right? It's scary, but at the same time, it's such a learning process. Briefly take me through what the process of songwriting for you is like. How do you start? Where do you get your ideas or your inspiration?
I don't know if it was Borges who actually said, let other people feel proud about what they write. I'm going to try to feel proud of what I've read. So everything starts by listening and listening and listening, and sometimes reading. Sometimes you're reading a book and some inspiration comes from there. When it comes time to take the guitar and start building something, what I do is I try to find something that sounds melodic, and then I hum a fairly simple melody or something that sounds good, and in that humming, maybe a word or an entire phrase comes out, and then you start building blocks out of that phrase. But I would say that it starts by letting the guitar talk for itself a little bit and then go from there.
I'll make my way somehow along this broken road. Let me find my place. Let me find my home.
There's so many things that are endless, right? Life
Yes.
is not obviously endless, but there are thoughts, there are moments, there are, things that live in your mind that are endless. What inspired you to write that song?
It came from two places, honestly. The original idea for Endless as a poem, just as a writing, just as it was really more an escape pod. I had come to the United States to try to build my medical career, and I was sitting in the room of a friend of mine that lives in Houston, and my family was still in El Salvador. My son was newborn, and I had met him for 3 weeks, hadn't seen him for 5 months, and I was initially, it was a cry for help. I want to stop time and be able to, for a moment, freeze so that I can live it again and again and again and again. So stored for 3 years or whatever that was, more like 5. I grabbed it again when the pandemic hit, and there was so much insecurity about the future, but there was also so much anxiety about the past and what was going on in the present, and it was really hard for me to concentrate on that present tense where I could live, simply, humbly, and gracefully, to be honest. So Endless became that. It is about the struggle with the eternal struggle of trying to live in the present and acknowledge it and embrace it as it is.
Yeah, and we learned to do that during this pandemic, didn't we? We learned to just be in the moment because everything was so uncertain and we really didn't know what was going to happen. We almost lived day by day because everything was changing so much. So I love it. It's one of my favorite songs.
Thank you.
Way Back Home. When I first heard this song, I got very emotional.
That's good to hear.
No one knows when I'll return. No one knows where I will go. I want no other thing to find my way back home.
It took me to that longing of being in my homeland. This is my home. I love my home, but there's some things about El Salvador that, it's tied to my heart. So when I heard this song, it just got me. It just tugged at my heart. So talk to me about Way Back Home.
So Way Back Home came from it was a conscious effort to make a song that had only 3 chords that would portray feelings. Honestly, that's how it started. It started as an exercise, and it sounded very a little bit artificial initially when I did it, and then the lyrics started translating into my time at home in El Salvador with my dad. My dad passed away when I was 18, and the accordions, the accordion sounds, the hallway, seeing that shadow running through the door. I had a mirror next to my bedroom that when I was trying to stay up late when I was a kid, I would see that shadow and I would be like, okay, I need to go to sleep or at least pretend that I'm asleep. It's deeply personal.
Yeah.
Gardenias were his favorite flowers and my grandfather's favorite flowers, and there were gardenias at home, and so it was important for me to recreate that and to try to push it as much as I could. It is very interesting that for Way Back Home, I thought that it was absolutely necessary that we filmed the video in El Salvador. Yeah. I wanted to be sure that I did that and that my dad's accordion was there and that it had pictures of my mom and my grandma and my grandpa. Yes. and birthday parties and 30 cousin birthday parties, which is not something that you do here in the States. It's culturally is a completely different thing.
Me and you, I can see your shadow through the bedroom door. Me and you.
it is filmed in a little piece of property that oversees El Valle del Jiboa, the San Vicente volcano, which is where my family is from, where my dad's side of the family is from. So that also had some meaning. And I love the song. It's one of my favorites, honestly, because it's so personal.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song.
Thank you. I should also say that the architect, the mastermind behind the arrangements and the production and everything sounding the way that it does is Daglio, which you had an interview with him.
Yeah.
He's just way out there in how he sees and how he structures the songs in his head, and then he just tweaks it, and they sound so good. I mean, he does such a good job in doing it. He knows exactly where to put the emotion that needs to be done. And Way Back Home is that first time that the harmonies, the vocal harmonies hit you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the time when the song kind of comes out and presents itself better. So.
And you, Daglio and Rafa
Yes.
Garcia are just the trifecta. You guys are the three amigos, the three mosqueteros, the three dynamos, because you're the new generation of Salvadoran musicians. And so for you guys to work together, it's like la combinación perfecta, like it's the perfect combination. I think the three of you are just very special and definitely deserve some time, a platform of sorts, because you guys are really terrific. Really.
We are really, really lucky to have worked with each other and understand each other's musical journeys. I think it makes a big difference. Out of the three of them, really the one that stayed in the shadows mostly was me. I was always kind of like the background person, and I'm okay with being a background person. I want to tell stories. That's the one thing that I want to do the most.
For you, what do the arts mean?
It's an escape. It's a religion. It's a way of connection that can be in or out of this world. They complete me, I work in a profession that is very scientific in by nature, and it's definitely not enough. So it's the alternative reality that I love to spend my time in. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it absolutely makes sense. And knowing that you are a pediatric doctor, that is your perfect escape, right? From everything that you see, because it's hard. It's a hard profession. Not only is it like hard on your brain physically, but just emotionally too. So that's a great answer, because it's true. It's an escape for you.
Yeah, it is. It is. And can I stop writing? Yes. Can I stop playing? Yes. But stop listening or stop reading or stop admiring art? I don't think that I can. It's just ingrained.
I love music. I think music is incredibly healing. I mean, and you as a doctor, the effects of music.
Yes.
On patients, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think that it's important that also it means something different for all people, right? For me, music is about being able to open up a little bit of my soul and present it, and allow for people to see a part of me that is not readily seen. And for some people, it's about dancing. For some people, it's about feeling a beat. For some people, it's about the arrangement, and the music and the lyrics really don't matter that much. For me, it is truly the art of songwriting that I love the most, that I admire the most in the artists that I like.
Who are some of your influences?
Tom Petty's a big one. Dawes, I should say, is another one. Music from the 70s, like Cat Stevens, James Taylor. But I also grew up with music of the 90s. Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and I think that we have a little bit of that into the songs that we're doing as well. In Spanish, which is really interesting, I'm probably giving away all the information that you asked, but I am working in an EP in Spanish.
I was going to ask you if we're going to hear anything in Spanish.
So
great.
yes, it is coming. I have about 6 songs ready, and music in Spanish for me is my biggest inspirations are Nueva Trova, Silvio Rodriguez, Pablo Milanés, Fernando Delgadillo. So that's kind of where my music gravitates in Spanish. And I write completely different music in Spanish when compared to English, which is also strange, but I guess I feel it differently, you know.
No, it's not so strange, because I remember hearing an interview with Juanes, and he would say that he would sing in Spanish, but his guitar played in English.
Oh yeah.
Which, you know, it makes so much sense, because you can hear,
sense.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
totally. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You hear it. You could actually hear it. So yeah, it's very cool. I love your music. I admire what you do. I think that it's very important to showcase somebody who is, you know, who has a career, but is doing this because it fulfills their heart. Is doing this because you absolutely love music, and you love songwriting, and you love putting out really good music that's going to touch people's hearts and their emotions. I think it's completely commendable. So congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, when I started writing and we started putting real effort into producing this music, people always ask me, what's your goal? And I was like, if I have one person that connects with it, that's good enough for me, you know. And I really should be thankful, because Endless, it has moved appropriately. It has moved people, and I feel like Way Back Home has as well. Sunday Song, which is coming, it's a much more conflicting song. It's about conflict, and I think that you're gonna love it.
Sing me a Sunday song that's filled with mellow notes, and I promise I won't leave you anymore.
You are a Salvadoran singer-songwriter that I admire so much, and I can't wait to hear more music from you, because you're amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to present a little bit more. We have 4 more songs coming within the next 3 months. I'm hoping that we can just provide the entire EP and see how things go. I really appreciate the opportunity. I really appreciate the talk. This was a great talk. It was a very personal talk, and that's the way that I like him, because that's really what I want to portray. So
Good. I'm so glad, because your songs are very personal, and anyone who takes a listen will discover that. So
thank you.
And thank you for all the work that you do at the hospital with these kids. I mean, we're just thankful for that, because we need more doctors, and we need more people like you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for staying safe too, because you guys were frontliners, and whew, that's tough.
It has been
the pandemic,
it has been a difficult year and a half. Yes, I'll say that. But you know, we're moving in the right direction, it feels like. So
well, thank you so much, T.A. Gracias. Esto ha
Gracias
sido
a ti.
un placer tremendo.
Gracias a ti, te agradezco.
Let me find my home.